Leo and Libra generally are a good fit. The only issue with that pairing is a need for attention. Leo needs a lot of attention, and so does Libra. If they can each nurture each other in that way and recognize that they each need a lot of external validation and give it to each other, then the relationship can work. But if you have two people in partnership who are selfish, where one of them thinks the other should be worshiping them, and they're not willing to give the other that same energy, then it's going to be an issue. These two on every level are compatible. You have fire and air. Libra is very giving in relationships, especially if we're talking about Libra Venus. And Leo is also very generous in relationships. So they have all of the makings of a really balanced, beautiful love relationship. And they can work really well together and hold each other accountable. There can be a lot of humor here, a lot of love for fashion, for the flair, for the dramatics, but in the best way, because Libra is super romantic, and so is Leo. So I can see those two going places together, but the only negative is the desperation for attention. Those two are very desperate for external validation. They don't inherently feel good oftentimes. They need other people to tell them that they're worthy oftentimes. So if they're willing to recognize that in each other and be that person for one another, it would be a beautiful pairing. But if you have one person that thinks they should be the one getting all the attention, or if they're even jealous, because sometimes people are jealous of the people they're in relationship with. So if they're even jealous of the other person for getting too much attention and starts trouble around that, that can lend to a lot of toxicity, which can make this relationship go left very fast. The next person wants to know about Gemini male being faithful. The answer is no. Gemini males are not known for their faithfulness because Gemini likes diversity. Gemini Venus does not like monogamy. They're an ideal candidate for like a open relationship. What is that called? Ethical non-monogamy. That's what it's called. So Gemini, I think Gemini Venus needs to be in an ethical non-monogamous relationship. And given Gemini's history, the ethical part might be a little, because Gemini is not really the most honest person on earth. They have a knack for twisting the truth to make it fit their needs, depending on what they're after. They don't really do it because they're trying to be evil. They do it because they like to see what they can get away with. They like to have fun with people. They like mind games. That's just how they entertain themselves. So Gemini male and faithfulness, no, I don't see that. That's not to say none of them are faithful, but it doesn't come naturally to them. Let's just put it that way. Someone wants to know if Aquarius and Scorpio make a good relationship together. Those two are generally attracted to each other, but they're not able to sustain a relationship that is healthy and stable. And that is also passionate, because one is very emotional and one is very intellectual. So off the gate, they don't speak the same language. One has a deep need for control and an emotional support, which is Scorpio in this case, and the other has a deep need for independence and intellectual support, which is Aquarius in this case. They want different things. Those two are often attracted to each other. It's a very common attraction between those two, but it's not sustainable. Scorpio marvels at like how brave Aquarius is and how bold they are, and how they love being different and how they don't care, because Scorpio is a bit of a rebel themselves. So they find that to be very exciting. However, Scorpio is too emotional and too emotionally needy for Aquarius, because Aquarius does not do a lot of emotional declarations. Aquarius is not emotionally needy at all. Aquarius does not need the things that Scorpio needs. So Aquarius is not even going to think to give that to Scorpio, because they don't need that. And they also don't respect it. That's the other thing. Aquarius doesn't necessarily respect Scorpio's emotional depth. It makes them uncomfortable. They don't really care that much about a lot of things, and the things they care about them intensely, and they're just not going to understand like all the emotional volatility, and it quite literally drains them. What about Aquarius and Cancer? That's another pairing that is attracted to each other but does not make a good fit for the same reasons I just described. Aquarius is too intellectual for water signs. That's actually the very worst air sign that a water sign can date, is Aquarius, because Aquarius is actually the least sensitive out of all the water signs. It's not that they don't feel things deeply, it's that they're not going to express that to you. They're not going to connect with you on that wavelength. So when you're crying about you finding holes in your socks and how that opens up all the things you've been frustrated about, Aquarius is going to be confused about your reaction. They're not going to be like giving you a hug or speaking to you in a soothing voice and nurturing voice to calm you down. And when you're upset and you need alone time, they're going to be pursuing you, wanting to have the conversation about what you're upset about, because they're not going to recognize that you need alone time. They just don't speak the same language. They might even give you a blank stare because they're just like, why are you crying? Just buy some new socks. It's not that serious. What's wrong with you? They might give you that energy. And Cancer is probably not going to take that very well. So I don't think that's a good fit. Virgo man with a Sagittarius woman. That's another couple. Today you guys are giving me all the couples that I do not like to see together, but that cannot stop being attracted to each other for some reason. That's another pairing. Virgos cannot leave Sagittarius alone, and Sagittarius cannot leave Virgos alone. I see this coupling happen a lot. Sometimes it works, but even when it works, it's filled with a lot of drama. Both of these signs are mutable signs. Mutable signs are inconsistent. They're constantly changing. Mutable signs all have alter egos. Yeah, mutable signs don't do well together. I don't recommend two mutable signs being together because mutable signs have mutable energy. They're constantly changing. One day they're this way, the other day they're that way. Sometimes it may seem like they even have multiple personalities. I swear all of them have alter egos because they're never consistent. So when you have two inconsistent people trying to create a consistent relationship, we're already starting off on the shaky foot. That's the first thing. The second thing is Virgo is very particular about the way they like to do things, and Virgo is quite controlling. And Sagittarius is very independent. Sagittarius is the explorer of the zodiac. They will never be controlled. So Virgo trying to control Sagittarius is just not going to work. So they're both going to be stressed out with one of them trying to bend the other one to their will. And the other thing is, I'm not sure that these two need to be in a relationship to feel fulfilled. So they're not the types that will like stick it out and fight through the hard times. They're more of the types that pretend there's no issue or run away from the issue. So knowing that relationships are not devoid of conflict and that they're an inevitable part of being in partnership, I'm concerned about these two's abilities to be able to problem solve when things go left. Like, how committed are they going to be to problem solving? How committed are they going to be to the relationship? And is there too much ego here for them to be able to actually work it out? So these are the questions I would ask. Aries in relationship with a Scorpio, will it work? Long term, no. Unless there are other things that make it work. It's just sexual attraction. That's all it is. Because Aries is ruled by Mars and Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So the chemistry between them is electric. Electric, like out of this world. It's an immediate passion. They can't help it. It's just like... And the sex is like out of this world. It's going to be amazing. Like probably the best you've ever had for the two of you. Because it has all of the things that the two of you like, which is a lot of aggression and dominance. But outside of the bedroom, Aries is very sensitive, quite insecure. Scorpio is also very sensitive, quite insecure. You're going to be triggering each other because you're going to be trying to top each other outside of the bedroom, and you both don't like to be topped. So I don't see how that's going to work.
You can book your astrology reading at intuitivehealing.com. You can also watch videos at Intuitive Healing here on YouTube for Astrology 101 content. Listen to the Aquarius podcast on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube for your horoscope. If you're interested in astrology and love connections, you can visit at Styled Under Libra. And of course, for health and wellness and holistic healing, visit at Styled Under Virgo